Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever been so utterly captivated by a story that it feels less like reading and more like, I don't know, actually experiencing a journey alongside the characters, feeling every single win and every heartbreak like it's happening to you? Well, that's exactly the kind of thing we're diving into today. A narrative that didn't just entertain, but genuinely shaped a whole era of online fandom. It's known for its super deep emotional resonance and, this is key, its groundbreaking storytelling. So this deep dive, it's all about Here You Are, the legendary BL that's Boys Love Manhwa by the amazing artist Djun. Now, just quickly for anyone less familiar, manhwa is basically the word for comics from China. Think Japanese manga or Korean manhwa, they're in the same family.
Right, they're similar but distinct. Chinese manhwa often have their own unique art styles, their own storytelling traditions. Sometimes you read them left to right, sometimes right to left. It varies.
Exactly. But what makes Here You Are stand out, like really stand out, is its status. It's not just a comic. People see it as foundational, like literally one of the BL manhwa that defined a whole generation of readers, of Fujoshi's, the dedicated BL fans. It ran from 2017 to 2021, and that slow burn story just left a huge mark. So our mission today, what we want to do is explore why. Why does Here You Are feel like so much more than just a romance? Why is it this profound story that gets into identity, trauma, loneliness, and that incredible, sometimes really quiet power of healing love? We're going to trace how it evolved, both the story itself and that gorgeous art, and we'll try to figure out why it had such a massive global impact. The goal for you listening is to kind of get a shortcut, understand why this webtoon is basically BL royalty and why it still hits so hard for people all over the world.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is to truly get the lasting power of Here You Are, you really need to understand the vision of its creator, Djun. She's a Chinese webcomic artist, right? Her early stuff was on Chinese platforms, but then it just blew up internationally, especially on places like Webtoon.
Yeah, the reach was huge.
It really was. And this brings up a pretty important question for us, I think. What is it specifically that lets a webcomic, especially one dealing with such nuanced themes, cross-cultural borders like that, become a global thing? It really speaks to something universal in Djun's approach, something we'll definitely be digging into.
The genesis of a phenomenon, Djun, and Here You Are.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Here You Are wasn't just another hit title. It was Djun's absolute breakout. Massive popularity. And not just in China, it exploded internationally. It quickly became more than just a story, didn't it? For a lot of people, it felt like a major cultural moment in the BL world.
Oh, absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, a huge part of that appeal comes down to how Djun handled LGBTQ plus themes. It wasn't just casual representation. She brought this incredible depth, this sensitivity, and crucially realism to it, which was honestly groundbreaking at the time, and you could argue it still is.
It felt different.
It really did. Instead of just relying on, say, common genre tropes or a very surface-level romance, Djun meticulously dives into the psychology of her characters. You see their internal struggles, their fears, their growth, and it feels completely authentic, respectful. Like, she often highlights the quieter anxieties, just existing as a queer person in society rather than leaning only on big external drama. And that approach, it just elevates the whole thing. It stops being just genre fiction and becomes something much more profound, much more impactful for readers everywhere.
And the art. Her art style isn't just nice to look at. It perfectly matches that narrative depth. People always talk about how clean it is, how soft, but mainly how incredibly expressive. She has this amazing knack for drawing feelings, not just faces. You can follow a whole emotional beat just from a glance, or how someone holds their hands, or even just their posture. It's like she makes the invisible, the internal stuff visible. Unspoken things carry so much weight.
That expressive art style is, absolutely crucial to the whole experience of reading Here You Are. Because it lets these subtle emotions come across without needing clumsy dialogue. Djun basically invites you, the reader, to interpret, to empathize, to connect on a much deeper level.
You feel like you're figuring it out with them.
Exactly. It's this masterful technique that kind of bypasses obvious exposition. You don't just get told how a character feels, you see it, you feel it right there with them. It's such a hallmark of her work. Think about Li Huan, how often he looks away when he feels vulnerable. Or Yu Yang, maybe his hands clench just slightly when he's internally struggling. Those aren't just little details, they are the story in those moments. Makes the characters feel incredibly alive, incredibly relatable.
Her whole storytelling philosophy seems to mirror that too. It's just a masterclass in slow burn. It's deeply character-driven, and it leans heavy on emotional realism. This isn't a story where, boom, love at first sight, or where the romance is the only thing driving the plot forward. No, it's about the complex inner worlds of these two guys slowly, carefully colliding, getting tangled up, and ultimately changing each other over this really well-crafted long period.
Precisely. And prioritizing that emotional realism over, say, pure fan service, that's what really elevates the story. So many romance narratives, especially in certain genres, might go for quick satisfaction, surface attraction.
Right, the instant gratification thing.
Exactly. But Djun deliberately chose to explore the actual complexities of human connection. And that means showing the awkwardness, right? The fears about being vulnerable, the genuine struggle involved in opening up to someone else. And this approach makes the story so much more resonant, more mature. It anchors the love story in real personal growth, in shared vulnerability. Like, she doesn't shy away from showing their internal monologues where they're second-guessing everything, or those slow, hesitant physical interactions. It builds anticipation like crazy and makes every tiny step forward feel huge.
And the core themes she weaves in are just so powerful, so universal. Things like love, obviously, but also healing, loneliness, acceptance, dealing with social pressure. You don't just read about these themes, you actually feel them running through the whole story.
Indeed. They aren't just abstract ideas on a list. They're woven right into the fabric of the narrative. They form this rich, complex tapestry for the character's growth. Loneliness, for instance. It's almost like a character itself in Li Huan's early life. It's this wall that Yu Yang's warmth has to slowly, patiently break down.
Mm.
And acceptance isn't just about other people accepting them. It's a huge internal battle for self-acceptance within both Li Huan and Yu Yang. And social pressure, it's always there, like a subtle shadow, especially for Yu Yang. It highlights the real-world challenges that people in same-sex relationships often face. By exploring these really human, often difficult experiences with such nuance, Yoon makes the story relatable way beyond its genre. It speaks to anyone who's ever grappled with those fundamental parts of just being human.
Yeah, it's no surprise this manhwa quickly became one of the most beloved BL webtoons globally. People praise it constantly for hitting that perfect balance, between the sweet, lighthearted fluff moments and that really profound emotional depth. It's heartwarming, for sure, but it also has this raw, honest core that genuinely makes you think and feel things more deeply.
And what's truly fascinating, going back to that realism, is Junna doesn't idealize everything. She deliberately shows messy emotions. She shows family struggles, deep insecurities, and kind of counterintuitively, that grounded, sometimes uncomfortable reality. It actually makes the romance hit so much harder when it finally blossoms.
Right, because they earned it.
Exactly. When you see characters overcome genuine internal and external obstacles, the love they find feels completely earned. It feels deep, meaningful, incredibly resilient. That grounded approach showing the struggles alongside the sweetness, that's a key reason for its huge impact. It resonated because it felt real, not just like a fantasy.
And people noticed. Here You Are won significant awards in China, and it was consistently ranked among the top BL webtoons worldwide. That really shows how much it connected with people across different cultures, different languages. But interestingly, Djun hasn't really created another huge BL series on the same scale since Here You Are finished. Some fans wonder if maybe it was the intense spotlight that came with that massive success, or perhaps the sensitive nature of the topic in China, which, can create unique challenges for creators.
And that raises a really important question, doesn't it, about the complex pressures creators face, especially when they're dealing with sensitive themes or themes that become incredibly popular. Success is great, but it can bring unforeseen challenges, intense scrutiny, especially for queer stories in certain places.
Yeah, you can imagine.
It's not that uncommon for creators to maybe take a step back or shift focus after a massive hit like that. Maybe to regain some creative breathing room, protect themselves from the weight of expectation, or just navigate tricky socio-political stuff. But despite that, Jin's status in BL fandom, it's iconic, absolutely unchallenged. Because of the foundational, groundbreaking work she did with Here You Are, it cemented her legacy no matter what came next.
And I think one of the biggest reasons Here You Are feels so unique, something you really sense when you read it, is just you can tell Djun poured her heart into it. It's so obvious this wasn't just, ticking boxes for a romance plot. She carefully built characters who felt completely real, who dealt with real fears, and who found real, profound healing in each other. That personal investment, that commitment to authenticity, it just shines through every panel, every line, makes it totally immersive.
The heart of the story, characters and core tropes.
Okay, so who are these characters? The ones who captured so many hearts, made so many people cry and cheer. Let's meet them properly. First up, we have Li Huan, initially. He comes across as this tall, quiet, kind of misunderstood giant. He's got what people call a resting, well, a leave-me-alone face. But it totally hides his real nature. As the story goes on, you quickly see he's actually a total softy underneath. Deeply shy, incredibly awkward. And he's carrying this heavy burden of past judgments, past loneliness. It makes him seem cold, but really he's just profoundly vulnerable. And then there's Yu Yang, our sunshine boy. He's the extrovert. Super warm, super caring. On the surface, he seems like he's got it all figured out, totally confident. But as we get deeper into his character, we find out he's got his own set of insecurities, his own internal struggles too. There's way more complexity under that bright surface. He's not just there to contrast with Li Huan. He's got his own whole journey going on.
And the story doesn't just give us this romance. It very skillfully uses some really compelling narrative tropes. Tropes that resonate deeply with readers, especially those who love a nuanced, earned love story. First, you've got that classic enemies to lovers dynamic. But when it's done with Djun's level of skill, like here, it's not just a plot device. It becomes this powerful way to develop the characters.
Yeah, it's not just instant hate, then instant love.
Not at all. The initial antagonism isn't just for show. It actually forces them to genuinely see each other, to understand each other beyond those first impressions. It systematically breaks down their prejudices, their misperceptions. It builds this foundation of respect and eventually real affection. It makes the shift to love feel so earned, so satisfying because they had to overcome real barriers, internal and external. Proves the connection wasn't just skin deep. Then there's the absolutely central slow burn aspect. This defines so much of, here you are. It is emphatically not a quick fling, not an instant attraction thing. The gradual, almost painstaking development of their relationship. It builds incredible anticipation. Djun uses this long timeline to let the audience just savor every subtle look, every hesitant touch, every unspoken feeling.
You really feel the build-up.
You do. And this long build-up, filled with internal thoughts and quiet observations, means that when the emotional payoff finally comes, those first confessions, the first time they hold hands, it feels incredibly satisfying, deeply cathartic. It makes your emotional investment as a reader feel totally justified. It's really a testament to the power of patience in storytelling. And finally, what truly elevates this story, I think, is its unwavering commitment to realistic emotional growth. It goes so far beyond simple romance. It portrays these complex emotional journeys that lead to profound healing, profound self-acceptance for both Li Huan and Yu Yang. We watch them grapple with past trauma, with deep-seated fears, with insecurities, all with raw honesty. This isn't just a story where two people fall in love and problems vanish. No, it's the kind of growth that pulls intense emotional responses from readers. People always talk about how it makes them cry, and then makes them want to scream with joy when they finally reach those moments of shared vulnerability, like holding hands for the first time.
Oh yeah, the hand-holding moments are legendary.
They are. And it speaks to a deeper truth about relationships, right? That real love often acts as a catalyst. It helps you face your inner demons, helps you become a more whole version of yourself.
The journey of healing love arc by arc breakdown.
All right, let's actually walk through the journey itself now. Let's trace how Yu Yang and Li Huan's story unfolds arc by arc. So we kick things off with arc 1, chapters 1 to 10, first impressions. Enemies kind of do quick crushes. This is where Djun just masterfully sets the stage. We meet Yu Yang, our sunshine extrovert, and Li Huan, the tall, quiet, often misunderstood guy. Yu Yang, being super friendly and outgoing naturally, is immediately frustrated by Li Huan seeming so cold and distant. You can imagine him thinking, dude, seriously, could you maybe try engaging with people? But for us, the readers, it's instantly clear Li Huan isn't cold. He's just incredibly shy, super awkward, and you can see he's carrying baggage from past judgments, from loneliness. You immediately feel kind of protective of him. Despite that initial friction, Yu Yang can't help but notice Li Huan that height, that quiet, mysterious vibe. It's the perfect setup for that enemies to lovers thing. You can almost feel the slow burn being lit right there. It's this tiny spark of annoyance mixed with curiosity that just promises something way, way bigger is coming.
Yeah, the brilliance of this opening arc is how expertly it sets up that classic opposites attract dynamic, and it cleverly foreshadows the deep emotional journey ahead. Yu Yang's outward warmth instantly clashes with Li Huan's internal walls, creating this really interesting tension. Djun plants the seeds of conflict and curiosity with such precision. The emotional beats are key here, Yu Yang's annoyance, but also that dawning curiosity, and Li Huan's subtle, almost invisible vulnerability. This arc isn't just an intro, it's the foundation. It tells us, okay, it's going to be a slow burn because they're so different, but man, that chemistry, it's already there. You know something captivating is going to develop.
Okay, moving into arc 2, chapters 11-20, chipping at the walls. This is where Djun really starts dismantling those first impressions. Yu Yang keeps accidentally running into Li Huan, right? And every time they interact, it chips away at his idea of Li Huan being just that cold guy.
Hmm.
We start seeing Li Huan do these subtle, quiet acts of kindness, like carrying something for Yu Yang, or just being quietly considerate, noticing when Yu Yang needs help without being asked. They aren't big, dramatic things. They're small, quiet moments of observation, of genuine care. It shows he's actually really empathetic. And then the moment that changes everything, the one fans always talk about. Yu Yang sees Li Huan smile. For real.
Huge moment.
It's massive. For readers, that single rare smile feels like this pure emotional breakthrough. And Yu Yang, who's naturally fair-minded and dislikes injustice, even starts kind of defending Li Huan to other people. He realizes Li Huan's been unfairly judged as scary or mean. It's a huge reevaluation for Yu Yang.
The significance of that first smile, yeah, it can't be overstated. Djun uses it as a pivotal turning point. It shatters the stereotypes around Li Huan. It lets Yu Yang and us glimpse his actual gentle nature. It's this powerful visual cue, a moment of vulnerability and warmth that completely reframes how Yu Yang sees him. Crucially, this arc shows that fundamental shift. Yu Yang goes from annoyed to intrigued to realizing Li Huan is actually kind. That opposites attract thing stops being just friction and starts feeling magnetic. This phase is vital because it's where Yu Yang goes from just intrigue to, okay, low-key crushing on Li Huan. Sets the stage for a much deeper connection.
Then we hit Arc 3, chapters 21-30, Intimacy in the Small Things. Okay, this arc, this is where the story just revels in subtlety. It's not about flashy gestures at all. It's built entirely on tiny, quiet moments piling up, cementing their bond. They start walking home together. They have small, everyday chats. And we see Li Huan slowly lowering his guard, but only around Yu Yang. That exclusivity, that unique trust he's showing, it makes their growing bond feel so special. And Yu Yang, he is completely hooked by this point. He's noticing every little detail about Li Huan. How his hands are big but gentle, how he's awkward but always so sincere. Djun uses these specific panels like that famous one of Yu Yang looking up at Li Huan, just pure tenderness that absolutely melts you. These are the moments building real emotional closeness.
Djun masterfully shows here how real intimacy isn't always built on grand declarations. It's forged in these quiet moments. Shared space, careful observation, growing trust. It's in the comfortable silences, the subtle touches that say more than words, the glances that communicate volumes. Yu Yang realizing he genuinely cares about Li Huan's feelings, and Li Huan starting to trust Yu Yang enough to open up a bit more, even just in casual conversation. That solidifies the foundation of their bond. This phase is crucial because, yeah, there's no explicit romance yet, but the entire emotional framework for it is being meticulously constructed. It ensures that when it does happen, it feels incredibly profound and earned. The groundwork here is so strong you can absolutely feel that deeper romantic shift coming.
But yeah, not every arc is sunshine and smiles. We find that out in Arc 4, chapters 31-40, Insecurities plus Misunderstandings. This arc drops a layer of painful realism right into things. Real-life insecurities start crashing into their little bubble, threatening everything. Yu Yang starts to internalize that, liking someone like Li Huan isn't seen as easy by society. People around them notice they're close, and Yu Yang feels this deep embarrassment, not of Li Huan, but because of how others might judge them. Meanwhile, Li Huan, still carrying those deep scars from past rejections, from being judged his whole life, he misinterprets Yu Yang's hesitation. He pulls back into his shell. It creates this painful cycle, unspoken fears, emotional distance, and as readers, we're just like, oh, don't misunderstand each other, just talk, just kiss. It's agonizing because you see this beautiful thing potentially falling apart due to outside pressure and old wounds. This arc is full of Yu Yang's fear, battling his feelings, Li Huan's loneliness creeping back in, those small fights, that distance. It's pure angst fuel.
This arc is so critical because it shows that inevitable collision, right? External social pressures, past traumas, hitting head-on with these developing feelings. Jen crafts this deeply relatable layer of angst and conflict. It highlights that love isn't some magic shield. It doesn't make the world's problems disappear. It's about navigating those problems together, often imperfectly. The pain and misunderstanding here. They serve a vital narrative purpose. They make the future resolution, the deepening of their bond, feel so much more impactful, so much more hard-won. This period of tension grounds the story in a raw, often difficult reality. It's not just fantasy.
Then we get to Arc 5, chapters 41-50, the confession buildup. Oh man, the tension here is just, you could cut it with a knife. Jen gives us a masterclass in delayed gratification. This arc is basically just a string of almost moments. What am I talking about? Almost holding hands, almost confessing, almost kissing. Every chapter feels designed to keep you right on the edge of your seat, just desperately waiting for that breakthrough. Yu Yang, by now he totally gets it. His friendship feelings, nope, not platonic at all. He is in deep. And Li Huan, he's being so careful, almost paralyzed paralyzed by the fear of messing up this connection he has with Yu Yang. But Jun's art, the narrative cues, they show us absolutely clearly how much he cares. The emotional beats are intense. Yu Yang staring just a little too long. Li Huan being protective in his quiet way. Those little fights or misunderstandings that hurt, but then they're followed by these soft, heart-melting reconciliations that just reinforce how deep their bond is getting.
Jin's technique here, that emotional edging as fans call it, is incredibly effective. By drawing off the tension, by meticulously withholding that instant gratification of a confession or a kiss, she massively deepens our emotional investment as readers. Each near miss just cranks up the anticipation. It makes the eventual breakthrough feel like more than just a plot point. It feels like this huge cathartic release for both the characters and for us. It builds this profound sense that their love is precious, something worth waiting for, worth fighting for. This arc is pivotal because it's the setup for the big turning point. Will they finally admit how they feel or keep pretending it's just friendship?
And then, finally, Finn LLY. The moment we've all been practically begging for. We hit Arc 6, Chapters 51 to 60, First Steps into Love. This is it. The emotional dam breaks. We finally get those first real confessions, those first moments of genuine vulnerability between them. And it's portrayed so well. It's tender. It's beautifully awkward in the most relatable way. And it feels so, so genuine. This is where we get the first hand-holding, a moment that seriously hits so many readers right in the feels. And that clear I like you energy finally comes out. It's not just implied anymore, it's explicit. It moves their relationship from subtext firmly into text. The emotional beats are huge. Li Huan finally opening up about his deepest fears. Yu Yang bravely choosing Li Huan despite the outside noise. And just that collective sigh of relief from the fandom celebrating this huge step.
Yeah, this arc is a massive emotional release, not just for them, but for everyone reading along. That vulnerability right at this crucial point leads directly to real, authentic connection. It shifts their relationship from unspoken understanding to an explicit, acknowledged romance. Djun uses this period to show that true connection comes from courage, from mutual trust. It's this powerful affirmation of their individual journeys and their shared bravery in choosing each other openly. This is why the arc matters so much. The romance is no longer just hinted at, it's TXT. They are officially really happening. And the story shifts from just building potential to exploring the actual realities of being in a relationship.
But, like in real life, the honeymoon phase, it's kind of short-lived. We dive straight into Arc 7, Chapters 61 to 70, struggles with identity and acceptance. Reality hits them hard here. They have to confront the complexities of actually being together now. Yi Yang has to face not just his own feelings, but what it means to openly love Li Huan in the world. Social pressure, maybe family stuff, deep self-doubt. It all comes at him full force. And Li Huan, still carrying those old scars, that feeling of being not good enough, he worries intensely that Yu Yang might eventually regret choosing him. It brings in a new wave of angst, but it feels different now, more mature because they are together. The emotional beats are full of these really affecting heart-to-heart talks, moments where Li Huan retreats emotionally and Yu Yang powerfully steps up, reassuring him, being steadfast.
This arc is crucial because Djun really analyzes how mature relationships have to navigate both those external challenges and the internal fears we all carry. It powerfully shows that love isn't some magic fix, right? It doesn't make problems vanish, but it is a strong foundation, a foundation that helps characters face struggles together, building resilience as a unit. Like, Djun visually shows Yu Yang's conflict. You see panels where he's clearly uncomfortable in public, but his eyes always find Li Huan with total affection. This arc matters because it forces them out of their bubble. They have to confront the real world, their identities within it, as a team.
The journey keeps going into Arc 8, Chapter 71 or 80, Conflict and Growth. Okay, so even with their love established, the story stays real. It shows the cracks that inevitably appear in any relationship. They argue, they misunderstand each other. But crucially, this arc shows them learning how to communicate, like really communicate effectively as a couple. This is where they stop being just crushes who finally got together and start the hard but rewarding work of becoming a real functioning partnership. The emotional beats include their first major fight that was a big moment for readers. You see Yu Yang grow so much, realizing that love takes patience, effort, active listening. And Li Huan starts that difficult but essential process of learning to trust Yu Yang's words, his intentions. That's huge for someone so guarded.
And this arc really makes you ask, how do healthy relationships actually evolve through conflict? Djun gives a really nuanced, honest answer. She shows that disagreements aren't automatically bad. In fact, they can be catalysts for growth, for deeper understanding. These challenges don't weaken their bond, they strengthen it. They move beyond just infatuation to a partnership built on effort, honest talk, and solving problems together. It's vital because Djun shows us how they learn to fight for each other, not against each other. They learn and grow through every obstacle.
And then, Arc 9, chapters 81 to 90, the near breaking point. Oof, this one hurts. Deeply. External stuff, horrible misunderstandings, massive pressure. It pushes their relationship right to the edge. There are moments here where you genuinely feel like they might not make it, like the love isn't strong enough. Readers often talk about how devastating this arc is to get through, but it's also in this fire, this near collapse, that we really understand just how much they need each other. They've become each other's absolute safe place, their anchor in a world that often feels hostile. The emotional beats, Yu Yang doubting if he can actually handle it all, Li Huan's deepest fears being brutally exposed, and those cliffhanger chapter endings that just leave you desperate. Fangirls in shambles.
The narrative purpose of pushing them this close to breaking is incredibly effective, strategically done by Djun. By taking them to that extreme, she masterfully highlights how much they rely on each other. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes you only truly grasp what you have when you're about to lose it. This intensity solidifies their dynamic. It establishes them, without a doubt, as each other's safe place, a sanctuary. This arc matters so much because the sheer pain they go through makes the healing and resolution that follows feel 100 times sweeter, 100 times more impactful. The emotional stakes are sky high.
But just as they hit that edge, they pull back, stronger, more resolved. Which leads us beautifully into Arc 10, chapters 91 to 100, healing and choosing each other. After nearly breaking apart, Djun shows us the painstaking, cathartic process of them rebuilding. These chapters are pure emotional release, heartfelt apologies, raw vulnerability, and that profound, conscious choice, choosing love, despite everything. Yu Yang has this powerful realization. Li Huan isn't a burden. He's the person he deeply wants, the person he needs. And Li Huan, after a whole life of self-doubt, finally starts to believe he actually deserves to be loved, fully, unconditionally. The emotional beats are just soft moments of comfort, cuddling, holding hands, just being there for each other. You get these explicit I choose you vibes that resonate so deeply. It's incredibly satisfying after the long journey. Happy tears time.
And what's truly fascinating here is just the sheer power of choosing love. Explicitly, intentionally. After facing so much adversity, it's not just making up, it's this profound statement about commitment, about self-worth, about the incredible resilience of their bond. This arc really functions as the emotional climax. It's where their individual healing and their healing together truly solidifies. They emerge solid, undeniably in love, and crucially, safe with each other. It's the culmination of everything they fought for, a truly earned victory that speaks volumes about enduring love.
And finally, we reach Arc 11, chapters 101 to 109, the ending we deserve. The finale of Here You Are is just, it's like a soft, warm goodbye. It isn't flashy or overly dramatic. It's simply two boys who went through hell and back, finally finding genuine domestic happiness together. It feels incredibly tender, quietly profound, and totally, totally earned. The emotional beats are those final heartfelt declarations of love and this deep sense that, okay, now they're truly ready to face whatever life throws at them together as this united, strengthened team. Jen gives us an ending that feels completely satisfying, leaves you with peace and that quiet joy of seeing a love story so carefully built, so hard-won, reach a beautiful place.
And if we connect this back to the big picture, Here You Are really ends with this powerful overarching message. Love is healing. Love is patient. And love is absolutely worth the struggle. It doesn't give you a fairy tale ending where problems disappear. It gives you something more realistic and arguably more satisfying. Two people, once lost and insecure, finding immense strength and comfort in each other. It's a testament to authentic human connection and the quiet courage it takes to build a life together, embracing both the vulnerability and the resilience. Outro.
So what does this all boil down to? What does it mean for you? Here You Are is so much more than just a BL manhwa. It really is a profound journey into the human heart. It's about how love doesn't magically fix everything, right? It doesn't erase the past or guarantee an easy future, but it absolutely gives you someone solid, someone true to face the world with. Yu Yang and Li Huan's story just powerfully shows that sometimes the softest, most vulnerable love stories, those are the ones that hit the hardest, the ones that resonate deepest in your soul, and maybe even reflect your own search for connection and acceptance.
And that brings up, I think, an important question for you, our listener. In your own life, or maybe the stories you love, how often do we really stop and appreciate that quiet, resilient strength you find in vulnerability? In that slow, steady process of emotional healing, what kind of deep dive could you take into your own understanding of what makes a relationship truly powerful, truly enduring, beyond maybe just the big, obvious gestures?
We really hope this deep dive into Here You Are has maybe given you a fresh perspective or perhaps some new insights into what makes a story like this truly legendary, truly impactful. If you enjoyed this exploration, please make sure to let us know. You can subscribe, you can like this deep dive, and definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to hear them. And hey, don't forget to check out our other deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics. Thanks for listening.